Ravi was never the loudest voice in the room. He was the kind that people forgot until they needed someone reliable. College was noisy, full of laughter, love affairs, and late-night debates. He existed on the edge of all of it, quiet, unnoticed. That was until Arohi walked into his life. She was everything he wasn't, vibrant, spontaneous, effortlessly graceful. The first time he saw her, she was helping a lost freshman find their class, laughing while pointing directions with her coffee cup in hand. She had a laugh that echoed and eyes that paused time. Ravi didn't believe in love at first sight. He believed in gradual things, like sunrises, or how a song grows on you. But that moment, it became the before and after of his world. He didn't say a word. Just watched. And walked away with a smile only he knew existed. They shared a few classes. Arohi always sat at the front, asked bold questions, and doodled in her notebook. Ravi sat 2 rows behind, always watching, not in a creepy way, but in quiet admiration. One rainy evening, their paths crossed outside the library. She stood under the roof, waiting for the rain to calm. Ravi offered his umbrella, awkwardly. "You'll get wet," he said. She smiled. "So will you." He shrugged. "But I don't mind." They walked silently through the drizzle. It was the only time she held his hand, by accident, when she slipped, and he caught her. It meant nothing to her. It meant everything to him. Ravi started noticing the little things she liked. Arohi loved black coffee but hated sugar. She hummed the same old Bengali song when stressed. She always forgot her pen during tests. He left pens on her desk. Returned lost earrings anonymously. Once stayed up all night fixing a PowerPoint she had accidentally deleted on the shared drive. She never knew. She just said, "I thought I messed this up." "Strange, it's perfect now." He just nodded. Maybe someone helped. He was always just someone. Arohi's laughter faded over the months. Her father was sick. Her boyfriend, a brash, popular guy, cheated on her. She cried on the college lawn one evening, her phone beside her, shattered like her voice. Ravi sat nearby, heart bleeding. He wanted to hold her, tell her she was more than enough, tell her love didn't hurt like that. But all he said was, "Want some water?" She looked up with swollen eyes. "Thanks, Ravi." That was the first time she said his name with such softness. He went home and cried silently into his pillow. Ravi started writing letters. "Dear Arohi. You laugh like freedom. You walk like poetry. And I am just a line break. Dear Arohi. Today you wore yellow. You hate yellow. But you wore it because it was his favorite. I wish someone asked your favorite for once. Dear Arohi. I love you. I probably always will. But I hope you never know. Because your smile is safe in my silence." He kept them in a box, under his bed. They were paired for a college project. Ravi was nervous, his silence louder than ever. Arohi was patient, kind. They worked late nights, sometimes laughing, sometimes not saying anything at all. One night, she asked, "Why are you always there for everyone, but no one knows you?" He blinked. "I don't know. Maybe I like the background." She tilted her head. "You ever loved anyone?" His heart raced. His throat dried. "Yes," he whispered. Then quickly added, "Books. I love books." She laughed. "I thought so." But she looked at him longer than usual that night. Arohi got selected for a research fellowship in London. She was ecstatic. Everyone celebrated. Except Ravi. He smiled with everyone else. Gave her a farewell card. Even helped plan the surprise party. She hugged him tightly. "You're a rare soul, Ravi. I'll miss you." His reply. You'll do great things. Just, don't forget yourself in the noise. She looked at him oddly. Like she wanted to ask something more. But the moment passed. At the airport, she was wearing that yellow scarf again. Don't be a stranger, she said. Right, okay. He nodded. Take care. He wanted to say. I love you. I always have. Don't go without knowing. But instead, he turned away. She watched him go. Maybe she knew. Maybe she didn't. But Ravi walked out of that terminal, tears in his eyes, love in his heart, and words still buried in silence. Years passed. Ravi built a quiet life, steady job, small apartment, and fewer friends. He kept himself busy with books, silence, and evening walks. He never married. Every birthday, he wrote a letter to Arohi he never sent. He had her pictures, college group photos, farewell moments. He memorized the lines of her smile like scripture. But life? It was lonely. Not because he was alone, but because she wasn't in it. One day, an email arrived. Subject, guess who? From, Arohi Mehra. Was cleaning my old mailbox and found your farewell card. Thought I'd say hi. How are you, stranger? He stared at the screen for hours before replying simply. I'm good. Still quiet. You. That sparked a slow, irregular exchange. They shared occasional updates, her research, his work. She talked about London, rain, and how much she missed India. He typed long responses, then deleted most of them. He never told her the truth. But he always smiled when her emails arrived. 10 years later, their college hosted a reunion. He debated going. What if she didn't come? What if she did? But he went. She was there. She looked different, older, wiser, but the spark remained. She waved the moment she saw him, rushed over, and hugged him like the years between them meant nothing. You look the same, she smiled. You look stronger, he replied. They talked, walked through the campus, and sat on the same bench where she once cried over her ex. There was a moment. The kind of moment Ravi always feared, because it almost made him believe that maybe, just maybe, she had waited too. That night, under the reunion lights and soft music, she looked at him and said. Ravi, can I ask you something honest? He nodded. Back then, did you ever have feelings for me? His world paused. He smiled softly. What makes you ask? You were always, there. In ways that felt more than friendship. He said nothing. Just looked down and sipped his drink. She didn't push. But something in her eyes looked disappointed. As if she'd hoped he'd say yes. After the reunion, she stayed in town for a few days. They met again. Shared old stories. Laughed. On the rooftop of her guest house, under a sky full of stars, she asked him. Did you ever love someone? He wanted to scream her name. Wanted to tell her about the letters, the pain, the silences. Instead, he said, no one special. She smiled with closed eyes. Liar, she whispered. But she didn't press further. And he stayed silent, again. 3 months later, an email arrived. Subject, big news, smiley face. I'm getting married. His name's Neil. He's gentle, kind, and makes coffee exactly how I like it. I wanted you to know first. Ravi read it twice. Then again. Then walked to the sea and let the waves crash into his knees. He replied, congratulations. He's lucky. She never knew he cried that night. Or that he didn't eat for 2 days. But he still smiled at her next message. She never knew he cried that night. Or that he didn't eat for 2 days. But he still smiled at her next message. The night before her wedding, Ravi visited her house. Left a package with the watchman. Inside, the box of unsent letters. All of them. And a final note. I was always just a shadow in your light. But I loved you, Arohi. I loved you when you danced in the rain, cried on benches, and walked away at airports. I loved you silently, completely, and always. I never said it because I thought my silence would protect your smile. I only hope now that you are loved as you deserve. Goodbye. He disappeared before the sun rose. Arohi found the box. She sat alone on her wedding morning, reading every letter. She cried, tears that came from knowing she had been loved more deeply than she ever imagined. When her husband-to-be arrived, she smiled, posed for pictures, and wore her lehenga proudly. But part of her heart was somewhere else. That night, on her honeymoon, she emailed Ravi. The message went unread. He had changed his number. Deleted his email. Vanished. 10 more years passed. Arohi, now divorced, moved back to India. Her marriage had broken under the weight of emotional distance, something she couldn't explain, even to herself. She found Ravi's old friend at a bookstore one day. That led her to a quiet village, where Ravi was now running a small library. He looked older. So did she. He saw her and froze. You found me, he whispered. She just said, I never stopped looking. They sat under a tree. I read every letter, she said. Every word. I cried for weeks. I couldn't take your joy, he replied. I thought staying silent was noble. She held his hand. You were never just a shadow, Ravi. You were the light I never looked at directly, because it scared me. He stared at her. Years of love, pain, silence, finally broke. I loved you, Arohi. I always did. She smiled through tears. And I still do. They didn't rush. There was no dramatic kiss. Just fingers interlocked, silence between them, this time, a silence that didn't hurt. Arohi and Ravi now run a quiet bookstore library by the sea. Sometimes people ask if they're married. Arohi smiles and says, we're more than that. We're a love story that never needed noise. And Ravi? He still writes letters. But now, she reads them over morning coffee.